Welcome to video 3 of the Creating a Design Process app tutorial. My app Stemtastic needs a page here for Plan and Create where I want to put a sketch pad for planning with a Save button, a Clear button, and a Home button. So let's go back into Thunkable. The first thing I wanted on, let's go ahead and get this dragged down on the right page here, Plan and Create. So there's nothing there yet. The first thing I want to put there is a label that describes Plan and Create. So I'm going to replace some of this text. I'm just going to say for now, sketch your ideas and then choose your favorite and build. Okay, so again, that text will wrap when we actually test out the app, so we can leave that alone for now. Now I want to put a sketch pad in here. So in order to do that, I'm going to scroll down in the palette to Drawing and Animation, and I'm going to drag the canvas over. Now this is a little small, so we want to change our height and width to be fill parent, which means fill all that empty space that's in there. That gives us a nice big area to draw on. We also need 3 buttons, so we'll go back to User Interface. We'll drag button 1 over. That's going to be our Save button. And I can't quite see it. There we go. Button 1 is going to be our Save button. Button 2 is going to be our Clear button. So drag another button over. And sometimes it's hard. Wherever that blue line is, when you see a blue line, oh, there we go. The blue line is where the button's going to go. It's kind of counterintuitive sometimes. All right, Clear. And then we want a Home button. So we'll drag this over, waiting for the blue line. There it is. And this one is Home. All right, so we've got a decent amount of coding to do on this screen because this is busy. All right, let's go to the block section. The first thing we want to do is save. So that Save button is right here. So it's button number 1 because it's the first one we put there. When button number 1 is clicked, we want to get what's called a tiny database. And unfortunately, I forgot to show that to you. So let's go back over to the Designer tab and show you the tiny database is in storage. Okay, so it's right here, TinyDB. We need a place to save whatever they draw, and that's going to be called this TinyDB. It's an invisible component, so find TinyDB, pick it up, and drag it over. It's going to hide it underneath here. It doesn't actually show up. All right, so now that we did that, we can go back to blocks, and it should be right here. Okay, so when button 1 is clicked, we need to tell TinyDB to store something. So we're going to go ahead and grab that over. It says call TinyDB1.store value. We need to call it something, tag it as something to call it. So we're going to grab a small text box over here, and we can just call this very simply my pick. Okay, so we're saving it as my pick. And what is it that we want to save? This is the value that we're saving. It's actually the content of the canvas. So let's look at the canvas. And we want, let's see here, call canvas1 save. Okay, so that's what we want to save what's on the canvas as my pick when that button is clicked, the first button. All right, so that one is done. We then want to so saving it will then hopefully put it as the background of that screen. So in order to set it as the background to show that it remembers it time and time again when you go into the app, we want to go to when the screen itself, so I'm going to click on Plan and Create, when it's initialized, so when the screen actually opens, it's the third one down. Remember, I've clicked over here, Plan and Create. When that is initialized, we'll drag that over here. When that screen is opened, we want to call or set the background image of the canvas to be the my pick. All right, so let's go to Canvas and drag down or scroll down until we see some green stuff. We want to set the canvas background image to, let's see, can we find it? Set canvas background. Oh, here it is. Set canvas background image to something that we saved up here, the mypic. So we have to call that tinydb again from the database. We're going to call it, and we're going to actually get the value this time. We're not storing it this time, we're getting it because we want that picture to be saved on the background of the screen. So we're going to get the value. The tag that we're going to use is mypic. I can actually show you a shortcut here. You can duplicate that. I right-clicked on that tag to duplicate it. And the value, if the tag is not there, so if there's nothing here that they saved, if they haven't done anything in it yet, the value will be empty, and that's okay. Leave that one empty. All right, so now we have it set so that button 1 saves, and when the app is opened again, the picture is still there. That's what we have so far. All right, button 2, we want to clear. Remember over here, button 2 is clear. We want to empty the canvas. So if you make a mistake, you can erase it. So for button number 2, we go to here. When button 2 is clicked, we want to clear the canvas. So canvas, call canvas clear. We also should set the background image to blank if we want to get rid of everything that's on there, just in case there's any residual pictures that were drawn on there. We want to also set the background color, or background image, to blank. So we'll do the same thing over here. We'll click on Canvas 1, go down to that green section, set the background image. I'm going to slide it right underneath here, thunk it right in there. Set Canvas 1 background image to the blank text box. All right, so that should work for making sure that our second button clears everything that's on there. Our third button goes home. This one we're used to doing. Grab button number 3. When button number 3 is clicked, we want to open another screen, and we want to call that one screen 1 because we're going home. All right, the only other thing we need to do here is actually make that sketchpad work. So canvas, when canvas is dragged, so when you drag your finger along that canvas, okay, we want to draw a line. So go back to canvas again and scroll down to the purple. Draw a line. Call canvas 1, draw line. Pause this video, please, whenever you need to, because I know there's a lot of steps in here. So don't feel overwhelmed. Move stuff around. Take your time. All right, when canvas 1 is dragged, we want to call the canvas to draw a line going from where our finger starts to where it ends. So that's what these X and Y's are. X and Y is a way of showing location on a grid. So we're going to be using the, previous, not start, there we go, previous, get previous X, and get previous Y, drag it right in there. If you hover over these, you don't click on them, you can just hover over, you'll be able to get the right blocks. So, oops. So get previous X and previous Y, and then current X and current Y. So this means that there will be a line that is drawn starting from where you first put your finger down to where your finger ended up. And that should give you the sketch that you are wanting, like the sketchability. All right, so let's go back over to our designer. I just want to point out a few things over here. If I have the canvas selected, I have some options over here. I already filled parent for the height and width to make it as big as possible. You can also change the paint color and line width. So I might increase that a little bit to maybe 3. You can change the paint color to be whatever you want. And then when you're done, go ahead and test it out the same way we did in the other video by going to your app on your tablet, your Thunkable app, opening that up, going to Thunkable Live and scanning the QR code again. And that is all you need to do in order to test out your sketchpad. I will see you in the next video, which will be the last video for this app. Good job so far.